to do some how-tos and what we do on the car. And a lot of people have asked what we have done to this specific car to get it ready for rally. It is a 2008 Volkswagen Rabbit. It is a 2.5 liter naturally aspirated motor. It's a pretty basic car, but we're going to try to share some things that we do. Right now I'm getting ready to open up the new control arms. We are changing from the stock steel Volkswagen Rabbit control arms, and we're going to upgrade to aluminum. They are lighter, stronger. They come from a Volkswagen Passat and should change over other than the rear facing mounts. I think I'll have to press out the Passat mounts and put them into the castings of the Rabbit, and we'll show you all that later if we do. But these are the new, they are Moog. I ordered them from Rock Auto, and I think they were like 88, 90 bucks, somewhere right in there a piece, complete with bushings and ball joints, the rear mounts, which, like I said, I'll show you them when I get them out of here, but I think we're going to have to press that bushing up for many others. But here they are. Also, you can ignore my hot paint nail polish. My daughter thought it would be phenomenal to paint my fingernails, and that was about 4 days ago after we got back from snowdrift. Yeah, I still haven't removed it, so hopefully they're digging that. So here is the new control arm. I have another one as well, about a left and right. I think this is the only difference. So come complete with ball joints, and this is what I believe. I think this mount part that goes on the car is different on this Passat and the Rabbit, so I think I'm going to have to press this bushing out and put it into my casting on the Rabbit. So basically replace the rubber bushing on those pieces, and then it should fit. Everything else should mount up. Well, I think I have another spare set of these to take with us just in case, and then I'll have the spare steel ones off of the car. We're getting ready to do suspension on this car. We will show you them when we get them. Right now we're running, it's basically stock replacement stuff. They're Coney yellows, and GKR Giant Killer Racing made us some custom progressive gravel springs for those. That's what we've ran so far at Southern Ohio, Show Me, and Snowdrift. They were really well for Snowdrift because they're not super stiff. New ones will be, I'll show you when we change it, but we're changing all that on the car. So while we're doing that, I've been wanting to change the control arms to the aluminums. We're going to change that. I'm going to tear the front off the car and show you the crash bar we built to mount the skid plate to, because these cars are super thin, and the core support underneath the radiator is almost nothing. You can't mount to it. So if you just buy a stock like aluminum skid plate, you still have no protection of the radiator. So we built a crash bar and extended our skid plate to cover the front of the car and take the load of the hit. I get this bumper cover off, I'll show you that. It doesn't fit really well now, and we have it kind of forced on there, so we're going to redo that. We're going to redo the control arm, check every other bushing, nut, and bolt on the front of this car, but we're going to tear it apart. I'll let you see all that stuff and let you know what we do. But for now, there's the control arms. That's what we're going to be putting on the car, and I'll let you know when I get them switched out. We're going to try to do some of these how-tos and what we've done and what works for us, so hopefully you guys can follow that if you're interested in it. We think this is a great chassis. The car's 170 horsepower, 177 torque stock. It's probably about 200-ish on both crank power right now. I'll show you what I've done to the motor later. Tune is a big thing to help on these cars. They have terrible rev hang and some issues. It's hard to drive. You know, a lot of the newer cars have the ABS stuff, which was eliminated. Traction control and stability control. The car still is doing something funky that we haven't been able to figure out, and it's only done it to me on snow and ice. When I slide Thomas to stop, the car puts it in like a safe mode. It throws no engine codes, but I have to cycle the ignition, restart the car, and then it's fine. But until that point, it won't take any throttle input. When I finally push the clutch in, it shuts the car down. So that's something we're going to continue to try to figure out too. I've never had it do it to me on gravel, so hopefully it's fine, but I don't know what's causing that problem. I've talked to multiple people, and almost everything I've learned on this car has been from asking people in the other 2.5 liter groups, and some guys that's rallied the same type chassis, whether it's this or GTI. But people in rally are super helpful. Don't be afraid to ask somebody questions, ask me questions. I have no problem helping anybody out, and enjoy to help somebody out, to see them get into the sport. So we're going to try to let you know on a budget side car, you know, what all you need to do, what needs to be on the car, the underbody protection. We're just going to try to bring you them things and let you see them. People ask often and they're interested in that, so that's what we're going to try to do. So yeah, there's the control arms, and I'll get back with you when we start getting this stuff on and show you what all we have to tear off and remove on the car, and try to show you what a re-prep kind of involves on this car and how to do it all fairly budget friendly. This car's been super reliable, and in 3 rallies so far, it has not had a fluid added to it. It was never on jack stands until snowdrift, and that was only to switch tires. So the 2.5 liter is a tank. It's tough. You're going to have some, you know, electrical issues and sensors like anything else, but as far as the motor goes, I don't think Volkswagen has built a more reliable motor. I think it's great for rally. It's not a super fast motor like a turbo or forced inducted car would be, but it makes good torque. It's easy to drive. You don't have to gut the car. You're going quicker than you think you are just because the power is so usable in it. But I think it's a great chassis, so I'm going to try to explain those things and why we do think they're so good. We get a lot of support from the 2.5 group, and they've asked questions about this car, so I want to share with them too. So stay with us, and we'll show you some more stuff and bring you some more footage. The new damper should be here. I checked them tracking a little bit ago, and it should be any moment here, for sure this evening. Once we get them, we'll do a unboxing and check them out and look them over and keep everybody updated, see how they perform, and do some testing with them and see what's up. There's not a lot of options for this car, so we're pretty excited to get these and try them out. So yeah, right now we're also doing some upgrades. While the suspension is off, we pulled the old control arms down to aluminum control arms. And I'll put, obviously has new bushings, ball joints, and all that in it. The car's got, I think, 140,000 miles on it now. It's done 3 rallies, and I've never refreshed anything on it, so I'm sure it's due. Right now we have the front pretty tore apart. Actually, the whole front end of the car's off, but we pulled this control arm. I'm working on the other now. It's kind of said that you have to pull the axle to get them. We were able to get both of the control arms loose with the axle in, but it's tight. We did get them pop free though. It's a little sketchy. I don't know that I'd recommend it, but that's probably how we'll put them back together too. But yeah, we're going to update this side as well. We'll pull this control arm right now, and here's the rear mount back there, so we'll have to pull that one off of this control arm and swap the bushings with the Passat one just like we did on the other one. But that's coming off now. Alright, so next step, suspension upgrade on the Rally Rabbit. And on this car, you can go to the Passat control arms, which are aluminum. We figured why not go ahead and upgrade to you know, a better control arm while he's going to have all this stuff off the car. The only thing that I've ran into that's different is the rear mounts for the bushings, for the rear facing bushings that go on this part of the control arm are different. So this is what came with them. This is the Passat rear mount. I think you can also get these without that, but I ordered them with the bushings, ball joints, and everything on them. So what I did was I took these Passat mounts, and you can tell that the Passat mount is this one, which is much wider, and if you put them side by side, you can tell that the Rabbit is offset of how it mounts up in there, and the front of it is also offset. As you can tell, this is kind of in the center of the circle. These ones are both offset, but the bushings inside of them are the same. So what I did was I took the old wore out bushings of these and we pressed them out of the Rabbit rear mounts, and then we pressed the new bushings out of the Passat rear mounts, and then pressed that new bushing into the Rabbit one. So now we're using the Rabbit housings and just transferred the Passat fresh bushings over to these. You can also buy new rear mounts with the bushings in them for the Rabbit, but we already had them and these were new, so why not reuse them? I've ordered another set, and I have another used set of these control arms that I will make as a spare set to take with us to the rallies. I have another set, so we'll still end up doing that. But yeah, that's a little pointer that I have. If you do go with these, remember that the Passat rear mounts are different than the Rabbit mounts. So that's what's up next. Yeah, here they are. Passat rear mounts. Told you before that we pressed those bushings out of there. Those came on these control arms, and we put the new bushings inside the Rabbit rear mounts, and now I mounted them onto the new aluminum Passat control arms that are going to go in the car. Glad that's over with. Now we got to get it all back in there somehow. Those weren't too bad to press out with a press and press them in there, and I put these on by hand with a rubber mallet and soaked them in cider and then slid them on there and kind of beat them on. You can, if you ever do these, you can feel when they kind of pop over the end there and seat down on there all the way. But they are ready to mount up, and then the dampers will go back on. Okay, so I've got a ton of questions about part numbers. Everything else is for the Rabbit, so car specific. And the control arms that I have are for Passat. So here is the part number for the Passat control arms that I ordered and received.